Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for April 3rd, 2017. Please stand for invocation. And I did see Bobby, please.
Father God, for another day that we have not seen before, we thank you. God, we thank you for this council and everyone that's here. Be with them, watch over them, give them the strength they need to do their job. Lord, help them to be the leaders we need them to be. We ask you, God, order their steps, protect their families, watch over them, keep them safe. God, we ask you to continue to bless our first responders, watch over them, keep them safe, and we thank you, God, for their protection of our community and all that they do to help make sure that we're safe. God, I ask you to bless all the staff that's here that works with the council. Bless all our staff, our city. Be with our mayor. Continue to bless him, watch over him, keep him safe. We ask you, God, to bless everyone that's present this evening. Be with them, watch over them, and also, God, give them what they need to help our community also to be a better community. God, as we continue to go through our days and go through the rest of this week, we ask you to watch over us and give us wisdom, Father God, for the things that are going on. And God, for all the things that we see in the paper, in the newspapers, in the media, and on the news, on TV, help us to understand that you are still in control. So we thank you for all that you do, and we ask it in the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bobby. Roll call, please.
Councilperson White.
Present.
Councilperson Sestovny.
Here.
Councilperson Yon.
Present.
Councilperson Maples.
Here.
Councilperson Hawkins.
Here.
Council President Gill.
Here.
Councilperson Owen.
Here.
Council Vice President Samuel.
Here.
Let the record reflect 8 council members present.
Thank you. We got the minutes from our council meeting of March 20th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We need to, for the approval of the agenda, please keep in mind we are removing under new business number 10, Clark County Airport will present next meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Claims to be approved, and we will do the general first. I did go through claims, and everything was in order with the general. We did need a few signatures, but she assured me she'd get them today.
Okay. If not, I'll take them to BPW tomorrow, or Wednesday. General claims are $482,816.96.
Anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. No further discussion, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Parks claim, and we do have one that I'm suggesting we pull, and that is on page 2. It is the Fun Times production. It's for the 1250. I had no problem with keeping this is for a contract for a train. It is for a November date for the deposit per the contract, but this was to prepay, write a check and hold it, and I just don't support that, so I am recommending that we do pull that. But I'm only one of 9, so.
There was a question from an authority member on the same claim as to why we would pay the deposit and the total amounts at the same time. And the explanation was that the deposit would be made, and we're going to go ahead and cut the check for the full amount, because that's what we're contracted to, but the full amount would be held until the times that services were rendered. So
Yeah.
It's
then
not real
I
good
read that-
practice to hold on to a check written in March to pay in November.
So we are making the deposit, but we are not paying for the remainder of this until
Right.
For April.
Especially, on something, a train, you don't know if what if the day of, or the day before it breaks down, and we don't have that train. So I have the new total unless you have it.
I do.
Okay.
It's $34,348.10.
Make a motion to approve the claims with that change for the total 34,348.10.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
We have the public hearing for the additional appropriation, which we did pass in the first and second, and that's all because we had to take it slow because of the advertisement, so. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a report of the clerk?
Yeah, this one was advertised for tonight to be the public hearing,
So,
and there's no change.
okay, so I'm going to go ahead and officially open up public hearing. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on this additional appropriation? It is for the $50,000 to add to the study for the 10th Street. Seeing none, I'm officially closed public hearing. So nothing changed, so I'll entertain a motion on third and final.
So moved.
Second?
Question.
Okay.
Did redevelopment agree to?
Redevelopment hasn't met.
Hasn't
They have
met
a
yet.
meeting set for Wednesday.
Okay.
Their portion was contingent upon.
Right, I was just
So I
curious
think they're
if that
set
had
to
moved
go
forward.
now, correct, Nathan? Yes, yes.
Okay.
Any other further questions, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Are you sure we don't have a report of the clerk? It was my mistake. Speak
Heather.
now or forever hold your peace. Okay.
Not really. I
All
mean, the only
right.
thing I got to report you, appreciate everybody, and I got I've had 4 weeks operate today, and I got 8 more weeks in the wheelchair, so eventually I'll be walking.
Okay, so we will move on to new business, which is under Nathan's name, but I believe Heather's going to be presenting, and that is the Public Arts Commission budget.
On the first spreadsheet here, we've got the projected 2017 budget, what's already been budgeted, and then the differences there that's on the agenda or on the additionals for tonight. So a total budget of $149,523. There's 87,000 plus coming from other sources, so.
And Nathan and myself, we did sit down and we met with Dawn, and I will say she is really going aggressively after some grants and really on top of everything, but she still insisted she wanted to see it in front of us. She wanted to make sure that we knew the breakdown, little description of some of the projects, but she did say if anybody has any questions or want to meet with her on anything, feel free. Her office is downstairs.
Right behind you,
Yep.
yep.
Where the
I might add, just as an example, the marina sculpture, that is something that's, it's a redevelopment project. When they put in the boat docks down on the river, they had to agree to do something down there, some more than signage, but with the Corps, they agreed to do this art deal. Well, when we did the original budget last year for the arts, we didn't put it in our budget because it was not going to be our project. We were going to help with the RFPs and the process. So knowing that those funds are going to have to come through, they will come through the art process, our budget. Dawn put in a allotted amount that was agreed to by redevelopment of $20,000. She added the $20,000 to our budget. That's what the offset is that Heather's talking about.
Yes.
The same way with the sculpted drinking fountain for $17,000. The Rotary Club asked if they could pay for a drinking fountain down in Big Four Park. Redevelopment agreed to that, and actually redevelopment's going to help select the look and the artist for that. But those dollars are coming, they weren't part of our budget.
but because so we don't have to come back and appropriate them for
Yes.
every project, we're just lumping them in. And that total of all those is, what, 80, close to 80,000, 80-something thousand? you mentioned.
87,000, yes.
So that's why it's somewhat skewed, is they were kind of new projects that was not coming out of our budget, and that we were asked to participate in, so.
So we're saying that 87,000 is money that we're going to receipt and then budget.
Yes.
Yes, it's a pass-through,
I got
is
you.
what it is. That's maybe a better way of saying it.
Is that 87 of the 110, or is the 87 already taken out?
The 110 is just a breakdown of that
Total.
Contract service account, just the
That's-
one account.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Heather, if I'm looking at this correctly, we're anticipating the $186 and $740 as revenue.
Yes,
And then our total expenditure is $185,523.
correct.
So we'll have $1,217 as a net surplus. Is that correct? was my quick math.
Nope, actually, the 185 is not correct. It's the 149. That would be included with the salaries, if salaries were in that fund
Okay.
for the Public Arts Administrator. So the total expenditures is 149,523.
Okay.
Revenues are 186,740. So you're in the plus of 37,217.
And if I can just add to what Heather's saying, as you're reading this, there was a few things that weren't budgeted for that we had not in the past because it was a contracted position. Like the third one down, office supplies. Fifth one down, groundskeeping supplies. Actually, we, like the running men out here, we've put tall grasses now behind them, and we're going to try to keep up some of that stuff. So they put some dollars in here in case we need to do it, and the green team doesn't, is what that's for. A few things like that, advertising, training, travel, things like that, we put in there because she now is a city employee, and that's kind of was recommended to her to put in case you need to do any of that or have that stuff. So
Yes.
that's further explanation.
There were a lot of things she was paying for out of pocket that I know is not what you all want her to be doing.
So is this just for informational purposes?
Yes, it's part of the I guess the third column over for the balance needed. Those numbers are reflected in your additional appropriations that are on for tonight's first hearing. It just shows you the breakdown of where those numbers come from.
Yeah, and she just wanted to make sure that we've seen somewhat of her budget and explanation of it because she didn't have one.
We're just appropriating the money to the correct line item.
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
From?
From the Public Arts Fund, in
Remember
the Public Arts
We
Fund.
transferred it.
There's a transfer that comes from Edit that's shown on here for the 99,017. And then the other grant dollars come in throughout the year.
I know technically we don't need to approve it, but maybe just
Take it on our
take a
back.
motion to accept it as presented or something?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to accept the Public Art Commission budget as accepted.
Yeah. I think she also wanted to show you what she has planned. Yeah.
Or as presented, I'm sorry, yeah.
They got a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Keep in mind, she did say if anybody wanted to meet with her and go over anything, her door's always open. So keeping that in mind, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Les Merkley, an ordinance approving a non-reverting fund for rehabilitation of the Nahan Field House. And I believe, what would the ordinance number be for this?
I'm not sure if the council's aware. I know the Parks Authority, the Parks Department, with the direction of Paul Northam, are looking at renovations to the Nahan Fieldhouse. I know it's the desire of the Parks Authority and the administration to try to seek private funding to help as much as possible with those renovations. I believe the last number I saw was a minimum of $1.5 million. I know there was an assessment performed on the field house on some structural issues and cosmetic issues. So this would set up a non-reverting fund to allow monies to be raised for that purpose. Obviously, it would require the council appropriating the money from the non-reverting fund, and also would require a claim process as well. So,
Just a little extra history. There's a subcommittee of the Park Authority that has met several times over the last few weeks about this in particular. There's a desire to kind of rehab the field house, because we've spent a lot of money on the field house in probably the last 7 to 8 years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of, stabilizing the roof and getting things, kind of cleaned up there. But there's still several items that need attention, and we can get into that another time. But the authority in this committee would like to solicit, funds from the public and make this kind of a community engagement process to go about doing some of these rehab projects. And I think if anybody would like to meet with the authorities committee, we have several meeting dates upcoming that we'd be happy to go through with you some of our ideas and some of the things that we'd like to come up with some funding. Actually, we want to invite everyone on the city council for a field trip, if you will, to the field house to see firsthand some of the things that we've pointed out and highlighted as areas that need attention. And I think that is on a Wednesday, April 12th at 6:30.
Just meet there?
Yes, the UEZ meets that day, I think at 5, and we're going to include the UEZ members, and the council is welcome to attend, just to kind of do a walkthrough. And then we also have a later date scheduled, sort of as an open house for the public to come in and see what we'd like to do, and kind of get some information on what the needs are and how we want to tackle the process of funding those
Would
needs.
you mind sending out an email to full
Yep.
council of those
Absolutely.
committee dates?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Entertain a couple of my questions.
sure.
I thought, has an assessment already been done? Have we already hired people to come and tell us what's wrong with the field house?
Yes.
And is that where we get the 1.5 million number, or was that just kind of
No,
about?
there was an assessment done, and we were given some options and some pricing on what it would take to do certain things, such as ventilation or masonry work or windows. And we kind of compiled a wish list based on those recommendations and quotes.
And then that equaled 1.5 million?
Yes.
That's where we get that number?
Yes.
And so there's not, although there may not be like a developmental plan in place for this, there's been a wish list put together?
Yes.
Right. And how much, you said, leading up to the years that we've had, that we've been kind of messing around with the field house, how much money have we put into the field house?
We've probably put 3 to
Since
600,000.
I've been on the
New
council,
roof,
well
new
over $1
windows,
million.
new floor.
Well over $1 million. We've done roof, we've done glass work, we've done some electrical work, and then the roof wasn't done properly, and then
It had to be
Well, but you've been on the
redone.
council for what, like
The
60
floors
years?
were
How
all
long?
redone.
let me say, in the last 12 years,
Get out of the
we
way
spent over
here.
$1 million.
Yes.
And Scott, when I was on the council, we were spending money then on it
And I think we've accepted that we're to the point where there's some large ticket items that need to be addressed if we want to completely stabilize the building. Otherwise, we're going to continue to put in, 100,000 here, 250,000 there. And that's where this kind of idea has come from. We wanted an all-inclusive look at what it would take to get the building stabilized and in good repair for the next 15 years.
Well, and I already got the invitation to go to the meeting, which I will attend, as I want to know, but has anyone ever asked, at what point do we cut bait on this? Like, I don't mean to get things thrown at me
We've
in a
talked
meeting,
about it in Park.
but has anybody, or is there a magic number of which this is enough on this? Has that ever come up?
I could say when the council was a Parks Authority, that was absolutely a consideration. Because it's just, it's a deep, dark hole that money keeps going down. And even though you can make the facility more stable and you can upgrade the electric, there's just so many other limitations as far as heating and cooling and the shape of the building and the usefulness of the layout of the building. There's just so many tough functional aspects of the building that I think that's something we need to seriously consider, to either not use it as a field house anymore, maybe use it in some other purpose, or shut it down altogether.
So it's my understanding that after this 1.5 million, then we don't anticipate any additional renovations or upgrades being needed.
I think this is going to get us to a point where we hope to be good for a long time with the field house.
And so, I think it makes sense when you look at our sunk costs and improvements that we've already made to the Nahan Field House, and we anticipate this being, hopefully, one of our last renovation projects, and we are expecting private donations that will help contribute to this. So.
And I think I understand that there's a lot of money that's gone into this over a long period of time. And I think the authority realizes that, which is why we want to explore other means of fundraising other than coming just to the council to get another $500,000 to fix a patch in the masonry or something like that. We want the community to be involved in this whole process and take a little ownership rather than, well, let's just appropriate $500,000.
And that's the point of setting up this reverting fund, is to be able to accept those funds of which people would
Yes.
potentially give.
Yes.
I have a question. So let's say we do get some people to go ahead and donate and buy in and give us $500,000.
Yes.
And we look at it and say, it's going to cost about $2 million, $1.5 million. It's not worth doing it. Do we give the money back, the $500,000, to the people who donated to us?
I think.
And also, as you get buy-in from the community, sometimes we have to make tough decisions that aren't popular. I think you might be creating a situation where it's going to be even a tougher decision later on if we decide to change the use of the building or not use it anymore for sports, for the use of basketball or sports in some way.
That's probably true. However, I think it would be a tough decision whether we engage the community or not to say we're just going to shut down the field house. I think we'd have a large uprising if that was the idea tossed around. I know that I have a lot of constituents at large, maybe not in the 6th district per se, but in other parts of the city that would surely not be very receptive to that idea.
Going back to my original question about giving the money back, does this allow for, if we don't use the money for the field house?
Specifically for that purpose, if it's not used, it could be refunded. Obviously, the key would be is to keep track of who makes the donations. So if we have certain fundraisers, we need to make sure that the money's tracked so it can be refunded.
And the committee has discussed that at length. We're going to put the systems in place to make sure that any money received is acknowledged, a receipt sent. These are going to be tax deductible donations. Every dollar will have a trace as to where it came from, if it were to come to that. Though I'm hopeful that would not be the case.
What we're considering right now is just setting up a fund.
Yes.
Correct.
So I know it's used by many different people from all over the city. It has a historical nature to it with Jeffersonville High School athletics and Providence High School athletics. And as I said, it's currently used as a place where kids can go and be active, as well as adults and even leagues. I can't foresee that it would be something that would be shut down. I think if we need to put the necessary dollars in it to make sure it lasts for another however many years, that's what we need to do. I support it.
I think it'll be telling when we get this fund set up to see what the interest is. If truly it is a community thing people want to invest in, it'll be telling.
Well, and I'm coming from a position where whether we get investments from outside government or not, I think that we should spend the money to keep some type of athletic facility downtown where people from all over the city use, opposed to moving everything further north. I mean, at some point, not going to have anything down. Football now is, I don't even know where they play, if it's out at the soccer fields or not. But it's hard for people to get to.
But see,
that's where they're playing.
I'd say no one said about moving it. I mean, you think about $2 million, say, or $1.5 million, $2 million. What does that buy you today? I mean, can you close that building off in a way that to allow it for historical purposes to be like a museum, and then build a more efficient and modern sports facility for downtown? I mean, $2 million is a big down payment to be put towards a new facility, if that was an option to be considered.
That's where my mind kind of was. I mean, and we're way ahead of the curve here, I realize, but I wouldn't look at like just bulldozing it and leaving nothing. But at some point, an old building costs so much, it has to be more cost effective to just put a new building there. So that's where my mind wasn't like, oh, the field house is push it over, not worry about it anymore. It's just, I mean, I've redone enough houses to know that sometimes they're just a money pit and you're better off just to cut it. But that's ahead of where we're going.
Okay, let's get back on track with the non-reverting fund, please.
Well, I'll make a motion to set up the reverting fund.
I'll second that motion.
I keep thinking Masonic Temple, that's what I keep thinking.
First and second
Are you
reading?
going to do first and second?
First and second.
Okay,
What number is this?
18.
18, thank you.
so I got a motion and a second to pass 2017 OR 18 on their first and second. Any further discussion on the non-reverting fund? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Merkley. Heather, an ordinance of additional appropriation, which our public hearing will be April 17th.
It looks like a nice long list, but it's not too terrible. The first one is for the transfer from the special Lowit distribution for the $1 million for the local match that goes towards the community crossing grant. The sanitation ones, if you add them all up, it's $250,000. That's what was realized with the new levy portion. And then the public arts are all what was discussed earlier.
And I did ask what they were earmarking that equipment of the $85,000, and that is being earmarked for a Packard. But they're actually still open to the leasing or whatever, which is be further conversation. But since that was a higher ticket amount, or not a higher ticket amount, but I just wanted to let you all know I did check on that.
Are we exploring the options, or do you know if motor vehicles or sanitation is exploring the options of doing some kind of leasing for multiple Packers? Are we in such shape with the sanitation department that we need 3 new Packers now, and we want to lease those for $85,000 a year, but we have the equipment now? Or
Well, to be honest with you, they didn't even look into leasing until you brought it up in a council meeting.
Right.
So we were going to get this appropriated, and they did request, I did stop in, and I talked to our street commissioner, and Paul McGee was there, and they would like for maybe a finance committee meeting, or even another 4 group, or, because we can meet 4 at a time, to sit down and look at those options with them, because they don't know what our thought process is on it, and they don't want to go out and look what I told them, I said, we do not want to get into high lease payments, Usually with the Packard and the roll-off, that type is usually the one and done that comes from edit. So there'll be a lot of discussion and a lot of, I don't know what for the leases and all that. It'll be a lot of work we'll have to look into. But I'm up for that challenge.
And to me, if we're looking into that, that's where I look to our finance department and/or, the administration to say, here's our three options. Because when we start changing what they're bringing to us, then we cross that line that we keep hearing about, that we're not sticking within our function. Our function is finance, I get that, but it seems like we need to be fed some of that information where we're not having to go out and track it down ourselves.
They feel that way, but they also don't want to go through all the work if the majority of the council doesn't want to entertain leasing, because in the past we've shied away from that and have not entertained leasing. So just something we'll have to discuss.
The $78,000 for the contractual services, it's broken down in the second page of this presentation.
Are you in public arts? Is that where
Yes.
you're at?
Yes, it is. It's 110, but there's already some there, so that's why.
The amount that's left, because we didn't use that to pay the administrator.
These are all dollars that are in that fund.
Yes.
No, to pay the administrator comes out of the Parks Fund. It doesn't come out of the Public Arts Fund.
Right, but you said there was already some there, that's why it's less than 110.
Right now in contract services, there was $32,125 that was budgeted for 2017. And what's proposed is $110,923, so that's a difference of $78,798.
And where are we taking those funds from?
The Public Arts Fund that comes, it's funded through you all as a transfer from, is it edit dollars?
Edit.
Yes, edit
There's
dollars.
78,798
It's
comes
the-
from edit.
Yes, it's the 4% goes towards public arts every year.
So it's technically dollars that are already in the art fund.
Yes,
They're just
It's
sitting
just
there.
being appropriated.
They're just being
Correct.
appropriated.
That's correct.
Make a motion to approve 17 OR 19 on the first and second.
Second.
I got a first and a second to approve the 2017 OR 19. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. As you all know, we come to the report of the city council attorney, and he is not here. He is the depositions or something. He's got a huge case in Bloomington. He was hoping to be back in time, but one portion of the presentation, part of it, took over 3 hours, so he said there's no way to be back here. So I'm going to let everybody know where our attorney's at. And I already asked, there's no department heads to report tonight. So is there any public comment? No? Okay. Then we will move on to our council comments. So Councilperson White,
No comment.
Councilperson Z,
No comment.
Councilperson Yon.
Just a few things. I just wanted to publicly thank Bill Dixon with our engineering department and Assistant Chief Scott McVoy. They both made presentations to the Oak Park Neighborhood Association a few weeks ago on behalf of the city and addressed some concerns with recent crime, and it was very informative, and we had, I would believe, maybe 30 residents that came, so it was a really great event, and I wanted to thank them for their dedication to the constituents. And then also, we won't meet again before Easter, so I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Easter and good time with your families, and see you at the next council meeting.
Okay. Councilperson Maples. No comment. Councilperson Hawkins.
I have a question more than a comment. I have not been around the last several days and have missed any potential news on House Bill, whatchamacallit, which affects potentially our Lowit budget. Does anybody have anything they can share?
Got the latest, but I have not had a chance to review it because with looking at the minutes from the committee report, things were removed, certain articles, so we'll have to go through. So
And that's still
graciously,
in the
our clerk
House
is going
committee?
to sit down with me.
Still.
This is from the Senate.
Senate committee, okay.
It was their taxing committee. So,
It sounded, I was going to speak on it.
Well, then we'll
unless you
wait.
have something else.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I spoke with County Councilman Lenford on Saturday, and he mentioned that it was being passed unanimously out of the Senate committee, but that there were some changes from the House version of the bill. The House version of the bill wasn't really all too great for us. It didn't look like, it didn't appear to be, but there were several changes to the bill, and then I think they were even going to add another amendment to change how we would be affected in our income tax distributions. And with the amendment, it appeared as though the city would receive its same increase to our income tax for 17 and 18. I'm sorry?
You have the amendment.
Is it in the amendment, in that bill?
Yeah, you have the amendment.
I was going to have it
Yeah,
scanned.
so it would freeze our,
So still get our increases and
So we're still getting our increases in 17 and 18. In 2019, we will still see an increase, but not the same increase that we would have had they not done anything. Instead of an $800,000 increase, we'll see a $300,000 increase for 3 years while the county catches up in their income distribution.
And at the end of that time, our catch-up period, do we then revert back to, do we get caught up, or do we just move forward from that point?
We move forward from that point. They will have caught up, but I think the distribution will still not provide us that full increase that we had before.
once the county's caught up, then that will
Right.
take away what our funding would be,
We shouldn't see
percentage.
a complete stagnation of increases, but it will slow what our increase will be.
Because they weren't at their full,
Right. We
above average increase.
we were seeing increases greater than what we would have had the county not done what they did several years ago.
Did you have anything further?
No, that was it, thank you.
Did you have anything else to add to?
That was one thing. The other thing we discussed in our last meeting, getting together for an executive session with the Parks Department, and I sent an email out throwing some dates. I got a few responses, but things have changed since then, and I don't think that we really have a need for an executive session at this point. But the Parks Department would still like to present the Parks Master Plan to the council. If we need to do that in a workshop, I'd like to schedule that before a council meeting in the near future, or we could do that during a council meeting if we foresee slow agendas like today. I know the Clark County Airport's going to come at our next meeting, but I don't know if we have anything that we expect to come up at our first meeting in May. Maybe we could have the authority come just to the meeting. We won't have to schedule time outside of that, or we can schedule a workshop. It doesn't matter to us. We would just like to get in front of the full council.
It was suggested a workshop that first meeting, well, it was actually I was going to schedule it for before this meeting, and that's only because of her leg, her sitting her sciatica and all that. So I think we'll be able to do that in a lighter meeting during the council meeting. We'll be fine.
I'm all about that.
As long as our city clerk keeps improving, knock on wood, so that'll be a good thing.
So maybe we can,
I'll keep everybody informed on.
So that would be, it'd be May after Derby, so it'd be the 8th.
Did you have anything else?
we won't meet on the 1st, is that correct? May 1st? Is that our? Yeah, it is the 1st, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you can just connect with,
I will.
okay, thank you.
With Riley.
That's all.
Councilperson Samuel.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Anytime I try to put forth an ordinance or anything, I like to give a heads up. And I'm going to be talking with our attorney about the What I started doing last year about the sidewalk projects, when we have long sidewalks, new sidewalks going in, if it's appropriate, after speaking with the city engineer, to put a pad with a bench, a trash can, and a pedestal or a base for the movable art, to include that in that project. So I'm going to push that forward again, and just giving you a heads up, I don't have anything beyond what I did last year, but I will be bringing that at some point in the near future. Just to remind you that the RFP for the utility boxes, the painting, the RFP is going out Wednesday of this week. And so if last call, I guess, if you have anything on that list, or anyone on the list that you really prefer over something else, let me know, and we'll try our best to get that one done. Thursday night, this Thursday, you may have gotten an email from Don Spiker about this, but they're doing the dedication to the flood wall mural, and it's ironically the Nahan Fieldhouse mural, and that's at 5:30, and it's down at the across from Rockies there. Usually whenever we have a dedication like that, we try to make it really short. So if you're able to come, great. It'll try to be under 30 minutes, if at all possible. And then my last comment, I just noticed we have Meredith Rodriguez in the audience, and I'm glad to see you. Glad you're here.
I was actually going to acknowledge her. We did publicly thank your husband for all his service, as you all know, and I won't get in because I don't want this to be a difficult meeting for you, but we appreciate all of that and the family's support of all of that. So I met real quick with Andy, and he brought up, he is getting ready to, you know how he usually brings a 2-year plan with his sidewalk plan and all that, and he said now is a good time if any council person has anything in their district that we're looking either, this not just sidewalks, it's streetscapes, anything that would involve his department, now's the time to get with him and let him know. And also too, we're trying to make the city more walkable, as you all know. If there's any place in your district that already has sidewalks but in their disarray or need some repair to them, also to let him know that. And I will send out a paving list. I think it was approved through Board of Public Works, so everybody will know which roads were approved. That did go through Board of Public Works, wasn't the list. The paving will be starting. We didn't get much paving done last year, but I'll send that out this week so everybody will know which roads are scheduled to be paved in their district. And then if you do not see a road that's on that and it's not looking good, please let them know so they can go out and assess that. So other than that, that's all I have. So I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.